I'm your host, Davida Shinsky, and you're listening to Live Without Limits, Dreams Come True with the Right Mindset. And today's show is titled, What Affirmations and How Can They Help You Feel More Empowered? Have you ever been in a situation where you asked yourself, why is this happening to me? Such situations may be about a predicament, like, why am I always unlucky? But is it not always the same in the negative? You may also find yourself asking why you are successful or lucky. We tend to ask these questions unconsciously most times, but what many people don't realize is that asking such questions helps us focus more on what our source of success and failure is and where we are headed. Interesting. When these questions are about positive occurrences, there is a word for this: affirmation. What are affirmations? Affirmations are empowering and feel good questions that you ask yourself that assume that what you want has already happened. For instance, instead of saying, I am empowered and confident, one could affirm, why am I so confident and empowered? Affirmations can also be seen as questions that could raise one's vibration and immediately change one's subconscious thought patterns from negative to positive by changing some beliefs about yourself and what you are capable of. And in this case, the purpose of affirmations are, if you look at the laws of attraction, that the energy sources that you're putting out are telling the universe what it is that you want. And when you use the right affirmations, you get what you want. There are two basic forces that govern human behavior, and they are why and how. So, the way this serves us is as a motive with which one performance or action on how it is a method of performing an action. In other words, one can know how to do something, but is reluctant to never be motivated enough to do it. This goes to show that one's ultimate motive is important and why affirmations always start with the word why. However, keep in mind that affirmations are not necessarily what gives you clarity, but they set you on the path. What is the difference between affirmation and affirmation? Well, an affirmation is a question that a person asks himself or herself as a form of self help through positive thinking, said the Collins Dictionary. While affirmations is a statement you make to something that you would like to be true. Affirmations is a question that assumes what you want is already true and is will come to fruition. So the affirmation and affirmation are both powerful tools of the mind. However, affirmations seem more like words one says to feel better. Things like, I am not a failure. I am rich, happy, and healthy. These words can make you feel good temporarily, but the problem may not quite believe them. That is, that you do not believe what it is that you're saying entirely. However, if these statements are structured as why am I struggling or why am I wealthy, happy, and healthy, it would help one focus and actually look out for the answers, which could be possible solutions to the present situations or lead to them. The mind finds it's more difficult to attack such suggestions made through affirmations as opposed to claims made by affirmations. Hence, affirmation or affirmation works better. Albert Einstein once said, I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on this solution, I would spend the first 55 minutes determining the proper question to ask. For once, I know that the proper question, I could solve the problem in less than 5 minutes. The this actually points to the fact that the human brain is wired to always ask and search for answers to questions. It gives the brain a task and not just a statement, which makes it feel good for just a few minutes. Okay, now before I go on, what I want to talk a little bit about is what's known as transactional analysis. Because in TA, you have the parent, the adult, and the child. The parent says you should, and they tell you all the things that you should do. The adult says, I am able to. And that's where you state all the things that you feel you're capable of doing. The child says, I want. And the child, that inner child with you, will always tell you what you're looking for and what you want. And when you look at affirmation and affirmation, think about it in terms of how you're going to ask for it. A great many of us have tried to use affirming words to reposition our life, thoughts, and patterns for the better. Why? Maybe because we heard that when we confess a thing, we process it. Or we have actually heard successful people tell us times without number. I told myself, I am not a failure. I will make it. That actually is a beautiful way to put it. It is good and reassure yourself every once in a while. But the question now is, do they really work? The answer here is only sometimes. This is owing to the fact that thoughts are like seeds planted in the mind. For instance, let's assume that you have a project at hand that requires some account or amount of money that you do not have. At first, you are going to be worried and sometimes depressed because you lack the money and it's inhibiting you carrying out the project. However, thinking backward, you recall a time when you were told to always speak positively in your life and that your thoughts were seeds and that you plant them in your mind and you speak up and say, I am wealthy. This suggests that you have identified that your main thought of having inadequate money has been holding you back, and therefore start planting positive thoughts to combat the negative thoughts. The truth is, the doubts and worries are still there because you are trying to convince yourself of something that you don't believe is true. Confessing that you are wealthy doesn't actually make you wealthy. And if you struggle with using affirmations because it feels untrue, then maybe you can try affirmations. How to use affirmations as an effective mind tool. I don't pretend to have all the answers, but the questions are sure worth thinking about, said Arthur C. Clarke in 2001, A Space Odyssey. The mind has what one might call the authentic search function, meaning that once one asks a question, the mind reels to find the answer to it. This is an empowering or disempowering. When you ask the right questions, the mind will find the right answers. Suppose that you asked, why am I confident and empowered? Your mind would race to find the reasons. And if you are clever and attentive, you can focus on those reasons to do more. And of the things that make you feel that way, and bring more of that into your life. The future strengthens the argument that you must try to not be so negative in your thought patterns. Always remember that your mind is on a mission to find the answer to the question thrown at it. So, how many affirmations can I make and why? The subconscious tackles empowering questions, and studies have shown that the subconscious mind can take on as many ideas as possible and cannot be overwhelmed. So try implementing as many affirmations in your daily life as possible. Then give it time because, like all lasting changes, its results come from baby steps. Only ensure that you're consistent in it, and the results can eventually be evident in your life. If you are feeling down, refuse to focus on that. Refuse to focus, or rather, what you want to do is to focus on your successes, affirm them, and watch your life improve dramatically. Now, we're talking here about the unconscious mind. Well, what I would like to do is offer you the opportunity to take my Change Your Thoughts Challenge .com/ join the challenge, because the first thing that we're going to talk about on the first day is the unconscious mind and how it affects the way you speak. So if you consider how to use things like affirmations and take them and put them into a context that can help you, then that is one of the benefits. Another thing we're going to talk about is toxic relationships and how they affect your mental health. The next day, we're going to talk about workplace culture and how you interact. The fourth day, we will talk about how to change your thoughts from negative to positive. And then the last day, we will review everything. And again, you can go to changeyourthoughtschallenge.com / join the challenge.